The fourth show in the Tanger Center's inaugural Broadway season is about to get underway. It is Come From Away at the Tanger Center, and Nick Duckart is part of the cast. He joins us. Welcome. We're so excited to have you come to Greensboro.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited too.
Tell us about Come From Away.
Yeah, so Come From Away is the remarkable true story based on when 38 commercial airliners were rerouted to Gander, Newfoundland after the 9/11 attacks. And for over the course of 5 days, these stranded airline passengers were taken in by these people from Gander, Newfoundland, and given food, shelter, communication with loved ones, parties, friendships were built, romances bloomed. All these beautiful human experiences happened as a result of this terrible tragedy. So what you're basically going to see on stage is this brand new musical about the human capacity for kindness, which is really, really something, it's very special to us that are a part of the show and for audiences across North America who've seen it thus far.
And of course, it's a message that never gets old, and we can always learn more about kindness, right? So, and of course, you're talking about around 9/11, when, all airlines traffic stopped over the U.S. completely, and planes were diverted all over the place. So think back for you. Where were you at that time?
Oh, that's a great question. So I was actually a sophomore in high school, and I remember walking to class that day. There was just a somber mood, and my teacher, who was usually a pretty gregarious person, he looked shell-shocked, and we didn't know what was going on. And then he finally turned on the TV, and we saw the towers. We saw the towers, that had just been hit. And about 3 months prior to that, I had made my first visit to New York City and gone to the top of the World Trade Center and seen the city from that perspective. And it was just, I couldn't quite grasp what was happening. And then just, over the course of that day, once more information started coming in, there was a little bit of pandemonium all around us. Parents were rushing to school to get their kids out of school because they didn't know what was going on. But it was a very, very somber, scary, confusing time for all of us. We just sat in front of the TV glued. And there's a moment in our show, actually, that shows that very, very relatable moment of people just staring at the TV in utter fear and confusion.
Because as a passenger on one of these flights that are in the air, even if you're not directly impacted, they had that moment of realization that something had happened and something had gone terribly wrong.
Yeah, because we have to remember, back in 2001, smartphones weren't a thing, right? So you don't have the ability just to turn on your phone and be like, what's going on right now? You had to, the transaction or passage of information took a lot longer. So, you look at these plane passengers who are just being stranded and dropped in the middle of this town in Newfoundland without any real explanation as to why. And that's a scary feeling for them. We can only imagine. I think that's something that is very effective in our show too, is the audiences see that and go, man, somebody please tell these people what's going on. Because that's something that's important, and it's very, very well represented in our show.
Yeah, and of course the audience already knows what's happened because we
exactly.
Yeah. So
exactly.
So how does this show work? The dynamics of it are interesting because you are not just one part in the show.
Right. So we all play multiple characters. When you go to the theater and you open your playbill, you're going to see, it'll say something like Nick Duckart plays Kevin J and others. So basically, we play a couple of primary roles, but then we also represent other people because we're representing 16 to 17,000 stories around 5 days in Gander, Newfoundland, right? So over the course of the show, you're going to see 12 actors on stage changing their hats, changing a jacket, changing the way they walk, changing the way they talk, to represent all these different characters. And as an audience member, because I had before I even joined the show, I was a fan of the show. So I used to sit and watch it and go, my God, these 12 actors are doing such incredible work.
Yeah.
They are just portraying all these different people. It feels like there's 100 actors on stage, but there's only 12. And it's pretty cool.
That is a challenge. How do you do that?
A lot of practice. It's just we've been doing the show now. I think we've just surpassed 660 performances, and I think that we've hopefully by now we've got a pretty good grasp on it. But it's something that when we were rehearsing it, there were certainly moments where we all kind of stood around each other and just kind of asked each other, "Wait, who am I right now? I'm supposed to be okay. That's right. I put this hat on, and then I put this jacket on." So it's definitely a repetition thing. Once we got more repetition in under our belts, we were in good shape.
Well, but speaking of that, you had a big break, right? COVID gave us all a reset. What is it like being back and in front of audiences again?
It's amazing. It feels absolutely amazing. Yeah, like you said, our industry was shut down for 18 months. So, we were 18 months apart from our show that we loved so much, our theater family that we loved so much. Because you got to remember, we've gone through so much together since 2018. So to have this sort of this reunion of sorts for us is really just such a blessing, and we're so happy and lucky and grateful. And that first moment, the show starts off with a drum beat, and we all come on stage at the same time. And when we did that for the first time, and the audience applauded for us, this is when we reopened in Memphis, Tennessee. We all had goosebumps. It was just like, we're back. We're finally back. And to be able to share this story in particular feels like such a gift for not just the audience, but for us too. Like, we're so lucky to be back and to be able to share this story of human kindness. It just feels very, very special.
Yeah. Why do you think, like, right now, that this story is so important?
Well, I think, one thing that was taught to us is that what makes the show so special is no matter where we are in the world, either, the conversations we're having or the trauma we're trying to overcome, this show is relevant because it talks about the human capacity for kindness, and it talks about being kind when it's hard to do so. Mm-hmm. We can have a sort of debate about how divisive we are being right now, or the different types of conversations we're having, and the trauma, the conflicts that are arising. But deep down, it's just about looking to your left and your right and saying, I need to be kinder to this person. We all share the same space, and we're all here for the common good, which is we got to take care of each other. Because if we don't take care of each other, then what do we have? And I think that is something that is very, very powerful with our show. Is it talks about these strangers that showed up in this town, and the people of Gander said that they were going to take care of these people because it was the right thing to do, not because they were going to gain anything out of it. There was no sense of fear or the fear of the other. It's just, these are my fellow man. We're going to take care of each other because it's the right thing to do, and you would have done the same. That's a line of the show. You would have done the same. Mm-hmm. So I think that's what makes the show so relevant, is no matter where we are in the world, that message is timeless. And we can always be kinder. We can always be better to each other, no matter what the time.
Yeah, taking care of each other, right? Yeah. And then to get to experience a show again, I think after all that collectively we have been through, and to get to sit next to someone who you know or whom you don't know, and that connection and being together and thinking about those persons as brothers and sisters in life, I think is really important, and it means more now than ever.
Absolutely. One of the most gratifying things for us is after the show, once in a while, we'll run into people who had just seen the show, and they're very emotional. They're very moved by the show, and they'll just say, "Thank you for sharing this story. I needed to see this today." And that's a great gift for us, because we know that we're really, really telling a story that is very important for our audiences to see. And it reminds people that people are good. We can be very good to each other. We just need to be reminded of that.
We certainly do. Nick, thank you for reminding us today. And we look forward to seeing you on stage when we'll get a big reminder from you and your fellow castmates. So welcome to Greensboro, and we will see you soon.
We'll see you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Find out more about Come From Away and the whole Broadway series by going to tangercenter.com.